low, going to be kind of difficult right off the bat.
Lynda-Barnes qualified as the number 4 seed, passed, in fact, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard on the final game of qualifying to take that number 4 position. And Lynda seeking her first U.S. Women's Open. She's a 2-time Queens champion and gets off to a perfect start.
Done a nice job. Both these players struggled really in practice. It's been a lot of carry down. 25 mils is a lot of oil. What we've seen in the Queens was closer to 21. This is obviously about 20% more oil. Seen a lot of oil moving down the lane. Lots of changes at the last few shots of practice.
Carolyn, runner-up in this event last year. And was looking for it to hook and could not get it to break. It's left, however, just the single pin to convert. How about some keys to victory for Carolyn?
Well, the first one is really just to get settled. She has a tendency to get really wound up and get fast. And the other thing, she's gone back to her timing from 2003, which will help with this adrenaline because she moves back on the approach. She can get a long push away and she can kind of chase after it a little bit. Plays into what happens with her a little bit with adrenaline. But if she can recall that magic, she'll be awfully tough to beat today.
And a simple conversion. And we should point out that none of the qualifying games were held here. We had our qualifying at City View Lanes in Fort Worth, and everybody very grateful, all the folks at City View, for the great job they did. But this is a completely different set of circumstances that the bowlers have to deal with here tonight.
The one thing that is similar is the lane surface is relatively new in both places. City View has been around for about 22 years, but the surface was less than a year old. It's also Brunswick Pro-Am lane. And so today, being on the same surface, relatively minimal difference between the two places, which is somewhat of an advantage, but it is playing different for the players.
Come on, baby.
Perfect pocket hit for Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. And her big secret was her match play record was phenomenal. She had the best match play record of any of the qualifiers.
Well, she's a great grinder. She will not give games away. You see the shot perfectly through 12, goes down to about 10, right down by that last marker, 10 straight back.
And ringing 10 for Lynda-Barnes that time. Lynda's match play record, oddly enough, you compare the two. Lynda was 11 and 13 in the 24 match play games. And Carolyn was 19 and 5. What about keys for Lynda?
Well, hers are to keep her legs underneath her. That keeps her upper body position correct, and then she's got good leverage. Not a big stature, so it takes that for her to be able to hook the ball more. And her second one is just keeping her right shoulder back. As she tries to hook it a little bit, the key is to trying to help it a little bit, but once that right shoulder goes forward, she rolls over the top of it and will miss left. And then you'll see the 3-6-10 if she does that.
Lynda averaged 211 in the tournament. Carolyn just about 206, rounding up. Lynda, a 12-time Team USA member. And again, the 10-pin will not go.
And this is what's going on with the lanes right now. The oil is carrying down. Both players are moving around a little bit. She's actually just a touch inside a target on this shot, and it does push, but it's not making it back through the pins. It's flattening out a little bit down lane. And this is what's happened a lot in the first two games, is trying to manage the front to back.
Brings out the special spare ball, and it did not make it. An open frame in the third for Lynda-Barnes. Is that a physical error or a mental error, do you think?
It looks like she's adjusting tape right now. I haven't seen her miss a 10-pin the whole week.
So an opening for Dorin-Ballard. She wanted it to sit. What did she mean by that?
Yeah, it was just inside a target. And you heard her say a little bit. Just a little bit left. Watch this one. She's trying to hit 11. This one goes, it's actually not much inside, but it did sound like it came off her hand a little early. It double dribbled. She knows she almost got one there. That was a big shot, too. A chance to pounce on an opponent's mistake.
And she covers that, but that's what Carolyn does so well. And you mentioned in her match play record, that's why she was able to advance despite having the lowest average of the 5 ladder members. Behind fierce defense and clutch shooting, the Celtics dominated Game 5, taking a 3-2 series lead over the Cavs. Now with their backs against the wall, King James and Cleveland looks to fight off elimination to force the series back to Ohio for Game 7. The NBA playoffs, Cavs and Celtics on ESPN and ESPN3.com. Thursday at 8 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern with the Kia NBA shoot-around. That crossover and was nearly a disaster. 7-pin was a late kick out, so she's left with a 6-10.
You can see here, she motioned afterwards. She just rolled right over the top of it. This is not the typical Carolyn shot that we see with perfect balance and a great fall through it. Projects through her target. That one was inside, hand rolled around on the side.
One more thing we should mention, that with every win in match play, each bowler received 30 additional points or pins. And that was one of Carolyn's secrets to making the show tonight, along with her consistent spare making and the fact that, as you mentioned, Chris, she won't make any big mistakes, or rarely does.
No, she makes you earn it. That's for sure. And she was fortunate. One of the keys she thought to her making it through this field was her opponents to keep averaging about 182 like they did throughout the match play. I don't see that happening in this field.
Well, Linda only down 10 despite the open frame in the third. And a little light there, but she gets a break. And your early call that these scores might be kind of low appears to be coming through.
Well, I'll tell you how tough this shot is. That ball was exactly 1 board right of the ringing 10 last time, and it ends up about 3.5 boards right down at the pins.
And she's on now with a little bit of relief on that. Now, who are these guys, Chris?
Well, we actually got them backwards there. Troy's on the left, Ryan is on the right, the surfer kid there, and this is back in the trick shot competition. Little teamwork, chest bumps, all the way around. Perfect score right there. That was worth a 50.
So the big question I'll ask you after this shot from Linda. And she carries the strike that time. Has either boy beaten you yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it's not far off.
What was the difference here?
She's just made a little move right, is what she's done. She's gotten more up the back of it. She's not trying to make it get back from down lane. So this time, instead of going and flat tenning by trying to strike, it went straight back and the pins went sideways.
Come on, come on. Yeah!
And a perfect strike for Dorin-Ballard that time. Let's get our ITRC equipment report. And Kathy, what do we have?
Well, the difference between Linda and Carolyn is Linda's thrown a Columbia full swing. Those balls are going to clear a little bit more. Carolyn's throwing a Brunswick wild card. It's going to start up sooner. But Linda's angles through the front are just a little straighter. And like Chris said, she did move a little right. But angle is everything on this condition.
All right, Kathy, thank you very much. The ITRC Pro Shop report. These two met in the U.S. Open show last year, and Carolyn defeated Linda, took that shot clock right down to the nut.
Skid. Tripping.
Well, she was looking for a little bit of a break, and once again, we hear her ask for a shot to sit.
Actually, I thought that was a really good shot. She's made a little move because she's getting carried down as well. She liked it off her hand. I liked it off her hand, too. This looked really good right about here, and it went ahead and tipped for the 4-pin. As much end over end as Carolyn can get, that is within a half a board of being a strike.
No mistakes for Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. That's the style that got her on the show, making few mistakes. Lynda-Barnes had 1 open frame, but still is in contention, just 10 pins back, and she's sitting on a strike in frame number 5. The opening match of the U.S. Women's Open will conclude in a matter of moments between two of women's bowling's finest.